Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the world spinning quietly toward March 29, 2025. The calendar flips, the sun rises, and life hums along like it always has. But then, something shifts. The air feels heavier, the voices louder, the stakes higher. For Christians, this isn't just another date. It's a line in the sand, a whisper of what's to come. Inspired by Denzel Washington's stirring words and the timeless legacy of Billy Graham, let's walk together into this emotional question. What will happen to Christians after March 29, 2025? It's a story of struggle, strength, and a promise that won't break. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you liked the video. You can help me continue spreading the lesson of God. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Now let's begin. The winds are changing. Imagine standing on a cliff, the wind tugging at your clothes, the horizon stretching wide before you. That's where we are right now. Teetering on the edge of something big. Washington's voice cuts through the noise. The winds of change are moving. Are you ready? He's right. The world isn't staying still. It's twisting, turning, pushing against everything we hold dear. After March 29, life won't suddenly flip upside down overnight. No apocalyptic bells or flashing signs. But the slow burn, that's already started. Faith isn't easy anymore. Maybe it never was. People question it, they mock it, they call it old-fashioned, narrow, even cruel. Laws shift under our feet. Cultures cheer what once was quiet, and truth, objective, solid truth, gets buried under opinions. Washington says it plain. The world isn't getting easier for believers, and he's not wrong. After March 29, that pressure will crank up. You'll feel it. At work, at school, in the grocery store line. Tone it down, they'll say. Fit in. They'll nudge. Why so serious about this Jesus stuff? It'll sting. It'll make you wonder if standing tall is worth it. But here's the thing. You're not alone in that wind. Billy Graham, that gentle giant of faith, spent his life telling us this day would come. He'd stand in front of thousands, Bible in hand, and say, courage is contagious. When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are stiffened. After March 29, courage won't be optional. It'll be your lifeline. Faith in the fire. Let's talk about fire. Not the cozy kind by the hearth, but the wild, blazing kind that tests everything it touches. Washington puts it like this. Faith, real, unshakable faith, is forged in fire. After March 29, that fire's coming for us all. It's not here to scare you, it's here to show you who you are. Think about Daniel, lion snapping at his heels, yet he prayed anyway. Or those three boys, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, walking into a furnace because they wouldn't bow to a statue. They didn't just survive, they shone. Jesus faced whips, thorns, a cross, and never flinched. Why? Because fire doesn't destroy what's real. It burns away the fluff, the fake, the flimsy. What's left? Gold, strength, you. After March 29, the heat will rise. Maybe it's a friend who walks away because you won't budge on what you believe. Maybe it's a job that slips through your fingers because you won't play the game. Maybe it's just the quiet ache of feeling alone in a crowd. Washington nails it. The test comes when you're standing alone, when you have to choose between what's comfortable and what's right. Test the fire. It'll ask you, do you believe this? Is your faith a feeling or a rock? I've felt that heat myself, a time when speaking up cost me a friendship. My stomach churned, my hands shook, but something deeper held me steady. After March 29, you'll have your own story. The world will watch. Will you bend, break, or will you stand glowing through the flames? Standing alone, standing strong. Here's a hard truth. The crowd won't always cheer you on. After March 29, it might feel like the crowd's gone altogether. Graham used to say, the cross is a sign of contradiction. It's not popular, never has been. Jesus didn't promise applause. He promised trouble. In this world you will have trouble, he said, John 16:33. Not might, will. Picture it. You're at a table, voices buzzing around you, and someone tosses out a jab at your faith. Everyone laughs. You could shrug, blend in, and let it slide, or you could speak, soft, steady, true, and feel the room go cold. That's the moment. After March 29, those moments will pile up. The world will push. Why so stubborn? Why so different? Why not just go along? Some will cave, some will drift, some will decide faith costs too much. But you were built for this. Graham preached it. God has not promised to keep us from the storms, but he has promised to go with us through them. After March 29, when the voices grow loud and the nights feel long, you won't be alone. David faced Goliath with a sling and a prayer. Esther walked into a king's court with her life on the line. They stood, they won, not because they had an army behind them, but because God was beside them. After March 29, he'll be beside you too. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Together we rise. Now let's shift gears. Standing strong isn't just about you, it's about us. Graham loved quoting Jesus. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Mark 3:25. After March 29, the enemy will try to split us apart. He'll poke at our differences, politics, styles, little arguments that don't matter. He knows a scattered church is a weak church. But imagine this, Christians linking arms, hearts beating as one, not agreeing on every detail, but united in love, in purpose, in Jesus. Washington says unity is built on shared faith, a shared commitment to the truth. After March 29, we'll need that. Alone, you're a spark. Together, we're a wildfire. The early church didn't thrive because they were perfect. They thrived because they stood as one. Revival didn't come from bickering. It came from unity. I've seen it. A tiny prayer group, different ages, different stories, all crying out together. The room shook with something holy. After March 29, we can't afford to fight each other. The world's watching, the enemy's waiting. But when we stand together, nothing can stop us. Prayer and feet. Faith isn't just words, it's action. Graham didn't fill stadiums by sitting still. He prayed and then he moved. Washington echoes it. Prayer without action is faith without works. After March 29, we can't just talk about God. We've got to show him. Prayer is your anchor. It's where you find strength, where you hear God's whisper. But it's not the end, it's the start. After March 29, pray for the lost, then go find them. Pray for change, then be it. Nehemiah rebuilt Jerusalem's walls with a trowel in one hand and a sword in the other. Esther risked her neck to save her people. The disciples didn't hide, they preached even when it hurt. After March 29, your faith will need feet. The world's tired of hearing us. It wants to see us. I remember a cold day handing out sandwiches to folks on the street. My hands froze, but my heart burned. One guy looked up, eyes wet, and said, "You're the first person who cared." That's faith with feet. After March 29, that's what we'll need. Victory's song. Here's the part that makes my chest ache with hope. We've already won. Washington shouts it. Victory is certain. Graham lived it. The cross was not defeat. It was a triumph. After March 29, the road might twist. The fire might blaze, but the ending's written. Jesus didn't just die, he rose. He didn't just fight, he won. The enemy's loud, isn't he? He roars, stirs fear, and makes you think he's got the upper hand, but he's a liar. His clock's ticking. After March 29, he'll push harder because he knows he's lost. The cross broke his grip. It is finished, Jesus said, and he meant it. Sin's done. So why do we shrink? Why do we tremble? After March 29, we don't have to. We're not begging for victory. We're standing in it. It might not look like we expect. Applause, ease, everything tidy. Sometimes victory's messy. Sometimes it's just you holding on, refusing to bow. But it's coming. The world will fade. The noise will hush. And Jesus, he'll stand forever. The choice is ours. So what happens after March 29th, 2025? The fire will burn. The world will test us. Some will fall, some will rise. You'll feel the heat, the pull, the ache. But you'll also feel him, God, right there, steady as stone. Graham's voice still rings. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. Washington's call still echoes. Will you stand? It's up to you. After March 29, will you blend in or shine out? Will you scatter or unite? Will you pray and sit or pray and step? The battle's real, but the victory's sealed. The flames will come, but they'll find gold. When the smoke clears, I pray you're standing, strong, together, victorious, because that's who we are. That's what's next. Well, friends, we've walked through the storm together, past March 29, 2025, into a world where faith meets fire, where standing strong isn't just a choice, but a calling. We've heard Denzel Washington's wake-up call and felt Billy Graham's steady hand guiding us toward courage, unity, and action. So, I want to ask you, what have you learned so far? What's stirring in your heart right now? Take a second, think about it. Then drop a comment below this video and share one thing you've learned today that you're going to carry into your life. One thing you'll put into practice when the heat rises. Your words might just inspire someone else to stand tall too. If you like this video, please comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Together we can keep this fire burning, unshakable, united, victorious. See you in the next one.